a short speech this evening and to present some of our results or our studies here in Pompeiopolis based on my work and the help of Bianca, which we started in 2013 and it's going on until today. So, for the very beginning, I like to point out that the ceramic studies took a great advance, especially during the last 40 years. It's okay? Do you need the translation? Okay. So, starting especially with the excavation in Carthage, in Tunisia, and the model of the ceramic studies that began at that time, it was followed and developed during the next year on mostly all the excavations. Today it's inconceivable to have an excavation without having one or two or three specialists in ceramics, in coins, in glass, so which will analyze all these finds and reach common conclusions on the dating of that site and the evolution of that site. I was drawing important conclusions regarding the artistic way of life in that town, the economy, economic connections of that city with the Roman Empire. Well, so the obvious question is maybe why it's in Pompeiopolis so important? Why makes it so attractive for me in special, and not to go to Ephesus to study pottery from Ephesus, for Pergamon, or from Sinope? Well, the main reason is that Pompeiopolis is the main inland of Anatolia. It belongs to the province of Paphlagonia, and which we know that all these provinces were so-called inermes provinciae, province of the interior, province without any army. So it was basically for city like Pompeiopolis, it was very important to have any agricultural production, and as you'll see, this agriculture was very, very developed together with viticulture, and in spite of this inland position, Pompeiopolis was able to maintain very, very interesting economic relations with different economic centers. And during my presentation, I will point out how important was the study of amphorae to point out different connections which cannot be found in literary sources or in epigraphic sources, but only in the ceramic studies. So, okay, start. So, the first slide is a short presentation of our method of analysis. We have divided this ceramics in the quartzware ceramics in for the first time for a database, general statistic, and after that, in, we selected special pieces for specific catalog, with the most important, most beautiful pieces which can be illustrated. So we have, I don't get into detail, you'll see in our presentation. The first category is represented by storage vessels, and we have been impressed by the variety of these storage vessels. A lot of pithoi with different shapes, made by, especially by two different workshops. One workshop, this one was this yellowish fabric. Another workshop is this one was reddish fabric, based mostly on filete, no, iron oxide. So all these workshops were specialized in different shape of pithoi, of drinking vessels, of kitchenware, so on. It was specializations for these workshops. Also, as a method, we have a very, maybe I was one of the first archaeologists in Europe that used this close-up picture with special. Usually, with this discussion, the argument was with our petrologists, because they used very magnified fabric picture, 40 times increased, 100 times. For they, it's perfect, because they can see the special inclusions, the nature of those inclusions. But for us, ordinary archaeologists, it's like Japanese or Chinese. You don't understand anything from. But a picture like this is very useful for everybody, for every archaeologist in the field, because they can compare our discoveries, our pottery, with their own ceramics later. Okay, we have a variety of pithoi, beans with, and you see some parallels in Castro Tigani, in Athens, Samos and Athens, and Chios. So it is a continuation of the Greek, ancient Greek Hellenistic tradition, because for the beginning we had a Greek enclave, strong Greek enclave, which we'll see was interacted with the native Paphlagonian people. We'll see later. Next. Okay, another, we have a variety of shapes of pithoi. This type of pithoi was made in this workshop. That one was made in another workshop. We can differentiate this very nice, yes. This pithoi was a flange. They adore this flange. You see, you have also in Castro Tigani, Samos, were basically made in one single workshop, the second workshop. It's reddish fabric. Next one. Okay, we see we have also a lot of vats, and see the decoration with vine leaves here, which suggests that these vessels were for wine fermentation. Next. Okay, the storage pots were also part of this storage process, because large, big pithoi were used for a long period of time. They don't touch it, because as soon as you open a pithos, it gets in contact with the air, and so you have to you empty that pitos as soon as possible. But to avoid this problem, we take from the pitos, put in these storage pots, and you can use them weekly or 2 weeklies and so on. We have also domestic pots. See how nicely decorated they are, which you will use for also from domestic motives, for dairy, for milk, for example, in this kind of pots. They are very similar with kitchen pots. They have the same shape, but the kitchen pot is not decorated because nobody cares the decoration of the exterior of the pot where you cook your soup. But for this kind of pots, we have they're decorated and embellished to be on display. Next. Okay, and now we reach my lovely amphorae. What can we say? First, we have, as you can see, we have imported amphorae and local amphorae. What is very interesting for this local amphorae, as you can see, they imitated the imported amphorae. Rhodian amphorae, Kosian amphorae, as you can see here, and they were made also, imitated also in Heraclea and Sinope. But we have real Aegean Dresser 2-4, like this, only fragments, imported from the Aegean, or then from Kos, especially, and many centers specialized in this so-called Dresser 2-4, this type of bifid to double handle. Why is so important to find this imitation of this Aegean amphorae? It's not a simple mechanical imitation. They imitated because they primarily transplanted the vine from the Aegean to Heraclea, to Sinope, and to Pompeiopolis. For this reason, the shape of the amphora, it's going to tell us, oh, this is an amphora for Rhodian wine. Oh, this is an amphora for Koan wine. So the shape corresponds to the special type of wine. And this can be found in many, in Italy. We have we have literary sources saying about transplantation of Chian wine to Italy. I don't know, Horatius said that, talk about a wine which never seen the sea. So it was never brought from Aegean, from Chios to Rome, but was transplanted and made its own Chian wine. Next, please. Okay, we have also imports from North and South Pontic centers, Heraclea, and from North Pontic, from rarely, but still have from Chersonesos. This is Heraclean fabrics. Next. From Eastern Mediterranean, real Eastern Mediterranean, but those bifid amphorae were the late Hellenistic, end of the 1st century BC, early 1st century AD. Well, we have some rarities like this amphora from Cilicia. This is from Ephesus and Sardis. This is the famous Capitan II, which I proposed, see the shape there, which I proposed the origin in Chios, based on some coins which have this type of amphora represented on Chian coins of the 3rd century AD. Chios is famous because it has this habit to represent its amphorae on coins. We have classical amphora, Chian amphora, Hellenistic, early Roman amphora, represented on Chian coins. So we know for sure that those are Chian productions. Next. Okay. So Spontic, we have an anonymous city center, maybe Amastris, typical for this fabric rich in iron oxide. Okay, and it has an evolution from the 4th century until the mid-7th century, like this one. The difference of the fabric, the 4th century and 7th century, to the evolution, I would say. Next. Okay, Heraclea and Sinope. Okay, Heraclea, and this is Sinopian amphora. In the 4th century, we have this type. Next. Okay, Levantine and Cilician amphorae. What's happened? So, because we talk about Capitan II, which was dated during the 3rd and 4th and very little beginning with the 5th century. Capitan II, as you will see in our graphs, is predominate abundantly found here in Pompeiopolis. Is the main amphora types in this mid-Roman times, 3rd, 4th century. What's happened after that? In the 5th, Chios production is finished, not only here but in the whole Roman world. And here in Pompeiopolis have a miracle, I would say. A miracle in the sense that it's basically invaded. We have hundreds of Levantine amphorae, like later Roman 4, later Roman 5, and followed by Cilician amphorae, later Roman 1. Of course, different center of production. So she's the same amphora based found here in the villa. This find, this fabric, this one was this fabric. Because there are hundreds of amphora workshops which we don't know, but we can get an idea about their existence by studying these fabrics. Next, please. Okay, so we finished this wine amphorae, and I have to give you some ideas about olive oil amphorae. Olive oil was less abundantly found than wine amphorae, because we'll see the explanations will be different connections. But we still have this Cilician oil amphora, this fabric typical Cilician, and the famous Dressel 24 civilis, which from the 2nd, 3rd century, which evolved in the 6th century to this shape. But this type of amphora, Dressel 24, it's quite rare here in Pompeiopolis. Why? Because one explanation, my modest opinion, is that this type of amphora, this olive oil production area from the Aegean, Chian, Eritrea, and north to Pergamon, it was mostly sent to the Roman army on the Danube area, Roman army in the Crimea. So it was by contract, it was assigned to the precise, directed. You have to reach directed trade and free trade. So directed trade, organized trade was for this type of Dressel 24. Other trade, we'll see, maybe it was free trade from North Africa. Next. Okay, North Africa, we have amphorae. We have quite enough amphorae from Tunisia, but mostly I could see recently from Tripolitania, like that amphora. So you have to think in mind that on wine amphora has an average around 15-20 liters. And olive oil amphora has between 60 and 80 liters. So we have to transform the capacity of this amphora, not to count amphora by amphora because there's a skewed fake image, but to transform this amphora in volumes. And you'll see that when you change the volumes, the number of olive oil amphora, the quantity of olive oil is huge in comparison with the wine amphora. Okay, so you see here, late Roman 2, Capitan 2, the proportion, South Pontic also, it's a spike, later Roman 1, and the later Roman 4 just raising it up to the sky. Other amphorae are very few represented. Next one, please. Okay, we have also for the mid-Roman, late Roman time, we have local amphorae, 4th, 6th century. Also in the local fabrics, which supports the idea that local wine was very frequent in the Pompeiopolitan lives, and we'll see we have a lot of amphora table, a lot of jugs, which support the idea, and Mustafa showed us another evening that local wine was very present. Next one. Okay, table amphora, as I see, has a characteristic that it also has two handles because it is amphora and a flat base. We call it table amphora. See, made in the first, especially the first workshop. Next, please. Okay. Oh, kitchen pots. We have quite a lot of kitchen pots. Why? Because the span life was very short. It was they were subject to the thermal heat, and so they can resist maybe 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and after that they broke. So after they broke, they throw out. Archaeologists came and count, and for this reason they very numerous because they were replaced. Local potters basically were doing almost non-stop pots. Okay, but okay. Also we have casseroles, and the existence, as we'll see, the existence of this variety of kitchen tools, pots, casserole. You see, next one. Okay, also casseroles. Almost the same, made in the second workshops. You are specialized in these casseroles. Yes, next. Lids. Well, with these lids, there is a funny story because until we didn't find in, I suppose, tire excavations, complete leads. We consider this as being casseroles, and I was quite strange casseroles, this flange, you know. So, because we look at it vice versa, like a casserole. But when we saw that here on top it has a handle, oh, we changed the story. We realized that it is a lid, this one, this form. Okay. Or frying pans, also very, not very abundantly found, but they exist. So this variety, frying pan, casserole, pots, shows a variety of diet, a variety of cooking, a variety of tastes of people who ate from these dishes. So they don't have only pots, different cooking, different meals, sauté, women know much better than me what can you do in the kitchen. Okay, baking pans also are present, and they are defined by having this surface. You can see here surface. It's with a very fine slip, like a glaze. It's not a glaze, but similar something very fine inside. And at the exterior, nothing, because the bread was cooked inside of it, covered by a lid. So this surface should be very smooth. So the bread should not attach to the walls of this pan. So also see the second workshop making this baking pans. Again, variety. Okay, basins, we have thousands of basins here in the Pompeiopolis, different shape, different sizes. This basin was spout and flange, right, was made also different sizes, from large to medium to small, because they use it in everyday kitchen for washing, for a lot of activities. Yes. Also, large basins. Next. Drinking vessels, of course, here is, we have again a variety of shapes, of lids, of rims. Yeah, and they're quite well dated. We know more or less that they, especially starting with the 4th century, they imitate jugs made in silver or in glass, so they have almost the same shape. And in the 7th century, we have a new boom of this type of, maybe Christo will tell you next week about this type of jugs, well painted, very nicely, very fine ceramics, and it showed that 7th century, second half of the 6th century, 7th century was also flourishing period. Next. Okay, painted and burnished, as we talk, see, well decorated. Again, carafes, which were used also for water, for drinking, and mugs also, a small vessel used for drinking. Next. Cantinas, these are some very exotic, special, very few of them I was able to find and And no, it's okay. And next, and here